You are now unmuted.
Hello everyone, welcome to Plutus IAS. So today we are going to discuss a very important topic under GS paper 2. Okay, because recently Nepal is so much into news, so definitely you can expect a question from Nepal. Okay, see, KP Sharma Oli dissolved parliament. Nepal is going through a very unstable phase, and it comes under GS paper 2, that is India and its neighborhood relations. Okay, so as you know that Nepal is so much into news because of this particular man. Okay, while we were having lockdown and coronavirus cases were so much rising, that time we were listening that sometimes he is saying that India is trying to, Indian coronavirus is more dangerous than Chinese coronavirus. Sometimes he is creating some map issues that India is it's illegal, that India is trying to capture the territory of Nepal. Okay, and he said that we do not accept the map of India and we are producing our own map. Then after some time he said that Lord Sri Ram is Nepali. Then he said that Ayodhya is not in, that Ayodhya from where Lord Sri Ram belonged is not in India, it is from Nepal. Okay. Then he said that Lord Buddha is also not Indian, and unnecessary Indians are claiming their rights on Lord Buddha, whereas Lord Buddha is from Nepal. Okay, so now and then he was trying to, and also he even said that we will call back all the Gorkha regiment soldiers from Indian army. Okay, why they should serve for Indian army. So time and again he was trying to provoke India and trying to spoil relations with India. Now you must be wondering that why was he so much keen, why was he so much interested in spoiling relations with India? Because he is so much power centric. The greed of power that he has, the greed that he does not want to leave his own chair, is the main reason behind all this activity that was going on. Okay, now what recently has happened? Okay, recently KP Sharma Oli, who is the Prime Minister of Nepal and also President of the party, the ruling party, the ruling party in Nepal right now is Nepalese Communist Party, and for your information, it is the largest party in South Asia, largest communist party in South Asia. Okay, but this party is not very old. It was formed recently in 2018 by the merger of two parties. Okay, one of his own party, see this, his own party, Communist Party of Nepal, Unified Marxist and Leninist, and his rival, another person, Pushpa Kamal Dahal aka Prachand. His party, that is Communist Party of Nepal, Maoist Center. These two parties got merged and formed Nepal Communist Party. That became the largest party in the South Asia, largest communist party. Clear? Now, see this. In Nepal right now, in the lower house, see, in Nepal they also have their parliament, that is called Federal Parliament of Nepal. That parliament has two houses just like Indian parliament, like we have Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Similarly, in Nepal they have two houses. Their lower house is called House of Representatives, and the upper house is called National Assembly. Clear? It has two houses. The lower house, that is House of Representatives, has 275 seats, and out of that NCP, that is Nepal Communist Party, has 174 members. Okay, so they are the ruling party. And also in the upper house, that is National Assembly, they have 50 members out of 59 seats. So in that house also they have the majority. So this is a majority party in Nepal. They can pass any ordinance without any opposition, because opposition is nowhere. very few opposition. Okay, that too scattered. So now you must be wondering, when NCP is having the majority and they can pass any law, any act undisputedly, then what was the reason why he had to dissolve parliament? Okay, this should be the obvious question in your mind. If it is not there, you need to work on it. Okay, so now let me tell you why this man wanted to dissolve parliament. Basically, first thing you should know, what is the meaning of dissolve. Dissolution means that before general election, before the term end of the parliament of any country, if the opposition and all the elected people are asked to surrender their powers and to go back home, they just leave their powers, and all the power comes under one person. That is in that scenario we say that the parliament has been dissolved. Okay, all the elected representatives basically lose their power. Okay, understood till now? So meaning of dissolution, you understood that before the term was about to end in 2020. The term was about to end in 2020, but before that only this man has dissolved the parliament. I hope till now it is clear. Now the question arises, why? क्यों इसने ऐसा करा? Why he did so? So basically what happened, he was about to pass an ordinance, or you can call that he was about to have this act that is called Constitutional Council Act. Okay, he was about to pass Constitutional Council Act. Clear? So this act was very autocratic in nature. That act was about to give so much power to one man, that is KP Sharma Oli. Here you can see I mentioned the act's name. That any position, any post, okay, KP Sharma Oli has all the authority for the appointment of that post. He can choose whomsoever he wants to be on that position. Clear? Now, obviously NCP is having majority, they could have simply passed this act. But among the party only, people who are also aspiring for the power, they became suspicious, they became angry that how can you take whole power in your hand, because we are also there, we are also leaders. Okay, how can you simply take all the control in your hand? So what this man said that okay, if you are not interested in passing this act, I am dissolving the parliament. Simply sit at your home. What he did, he simply recommended to Bidya Devi Bhandari, the president of Nepal, that kindly dissolve the parliament and we will go for the fresh election. Okay, and basically recommendation means order, and he ordered it, and now he is the most powerful man in Nepal. Clear? Here you all must be knowing where is Nepal. This is very basic. Okay, this is India, this is China, and between these two countries Nepal is a sandwich. Okay, so now this man has become the most important person of Nepal, most powerful person of Nepal. Now people of Nepal are very much concerned about this particular happening. They are saying this is nothing but a coup of the elected government, because we believe in democracy and this is totally against the spirit of democracy of Nepal. Secondly, this is sedition towards the country, towards the constitution of Nepal. Why they are calling it sedition? Because they are saying that in constitution of Nepal it has been mentioned that before general election the parliament can only be dissolved on two conditions. One, that there is hung assembly, and secondly that the person in the power loses the majority. Okay, now till now ऐसा कुछ हुआ नहीं था. Beforehand only he got that apprehension कि I may lose the support, because if I will bring this act in the parliament of Nepal, definitely I will lose the support. So beforehand only he dissolved the parliament. Okay, so people are saying that this is against the spirit of constitution. Clear till now? They are saying that it is threat to democracy. Okay, people of Nepal are not happy with the happening. And very soon when I will tell you some historical background of Nepal, you will definitely be able to appreciate what I am trying to say. Why people of Nepal so much afraid, why they are so much apprehensive about the decisions that this man is taking. Okay, so chalo, let's go to the timeline of Nepal. You will understand the mindset of people of Nepal. Okay, then you will be able to appreciate okay, why this is all happening in Nepal. Recently, okay, timeline 1768, the today's Nepal that we see basically was formed by this man Prithvi Narayan Shah. In 1768 he formed the Kingdom of Nepal, and after that in 1814 to 1816 Anglo-Nepal War took place. Now you must be wondering what suddenly happened that Anglo-Nepal War happened. Let me tell you in brief, although it is a history portion, total history, but I am telling you in brief. What happened, this Prithvi Narayan Shah was a very able ruler, and when he came into power, he started his expansion. He even reached there till Sikkim. He even took the Tarai region of India. Okay, so many regions he captured. He started capturing. And that time Britishers became apprehensive that okay, he is slowly coming towards India, so that will be a danger for our rule, for our existence. So in 1814, when it was like too much, he started taking all the areas under him. These people, they started fight, they started this war. So Anglo-Nepalese war took place, and in that Britishers were victorious. They won, and a treaty of Sugauli was signed between Nepal and British India. Okay, in that treaty of Sugauli, although it is very important, you must be knowing it. Treaty of Sugauli is very important because it was a very big treaty. I mean very important treaty. What happened in that? Nepalis were forced to surrender the Tarai region, to surrender the Sikkim region, and also few hill stations were given to India like Shimla, okay, and Kumaon, Garhwal districts were given back. So it was a very disturbing time for Nepal. Okay, then so after this war, the prime ministers of Nepal, he was the king. The prime minister, just like in India, Peshwas were there. Similarly, in Nepal, Ranas were there. So when king's role became, weak, so Ranas became active. And for the next 100 years, Ranas were ruling Nepal. Okay, because you must know, whenever you will create any vacuum, obviously the people around you will try to fill the vacuum. Definitely, this is the law of nature. Wherever there is vacuum, with a very high speed, people will rush towards this area and try to fill the vacuum. Similarly, when the condition of king was weak, there was a vacuum, immediately Ranas rushed and captured this position. Clear? It will always happen. You will see it in geography, you will see in the history, in history of India, in the world history. You will always see whenever the position is weak, whenever there is vacuum, especially at the high position, the speed of rushing towards the position is very high. I hope you are able to appreciate this thing. Right? Ranas took over for the next 100 years. But in 1950, things started getting changed, and with the help of India, again monarchy became strong in India, a bit stronger. That time Tribhuvan became the ruler of Nepal, okay, and his government under National Congress was formed. I told you that king was still weak, but at least better than the Rana's rule, okay. But now people were fed up of this monarchy and they wanted a democracy, because in the world that time was the era of democracy. So in 1980s, demand increased for democracy, and therefore in 1990, this man, King Bijendra Shah, He was a very mature person, and he understood that okay, the time is ripe enough for me to give my power, to decentralize. Okay, this is called maturity. When you understand that you cannot resist, you will not be able to tackle the demand of the people, it's better to give it yourself. That shows your maturity, and that is the only best way to deal with the situation. And he was a very popular man, and he understood. Like a nice person, he simply gave his power to the elected people and became a sort of constitutional monarchy. Means the powers were very limited with this man. Although constitution was not like that time, but he became a bit weaker. Clear? But still people were not satisfied. They wanted complete democracy. They wanted complete thrown away of the monarchy. So from 1996, the demand of this particular thing, that we need total democracy, we want total, we want monarchy free country, increased from 1996, and there was a civil war. Few people, civil war, you understand, people in a country are fighting against each other. That is called civil war. Basically, people of Maoist support, the communist people, they wanted to throw out the monarchy, and others were in favor of monarchy, so they were fighting among themselves. Okay, but finally in 2006, basically the democracy won, and in 2008 Nepal finally became the Federal Republic of Nepal. Clear? Earlier it was Kingdom of Nepal, and now it has become in 2008 Federal Republic of Nepal. Clear? But in between this civil war, when the civil war was going on from 1996 to 2006, what happened? Few very strange events took place in the history of Nepal. In 2001, their own prince, their own crown prince Dipendra, he killed the entire royal family. Killed the entire this royal family, and in a very mysterious condition. Still now, people have no idea that why it happened. Some people say that he was drunk. Some people say that it is this is a conspiracy. But till now, they have not come to any conclusion that what exactly happened that day. But ultimately, people of Nepal lost their royal family. Okay, that was a very sad event, and in only one prince was left. Okay, that time Dipendra, he was very young, and he was asked to take the seat. He became the representative of royal family. In 2005, he was a bit sort of what we can say, a person who did not appreciate much democracy. He wanted the monarchy to come back. So in 2005, what he did, he dismissed the elected government. Just go away, I will be the monarch of Nepal. But when already there was high spirit of democracy going on in Nepal, that time how can you take back the powers, no? Obviously people were so much angry that after that this man had to surrender, and he gave away his powers in 2006 finally. And in 2007, people of Nepal came up with their interim constitution, and in 2008, as I told you, monarchy was abolished and Kingdom of Nepal became Federal Democratic Republic of Nepal. Is that clear? I hope now that you have understood that how gradually from monarchy to democracy this whole journey was there of Nepal. Clear till now? What happened? Anglo-Nepal War, 2000 and 1816 Treaty of Sugauli. Everything is clear till now. Now, in 2015, people of Nepal came up with their new constitution. Now you must be wondering, they already had formed their constitution in 2007, then why again 2015 they again came up in next 7 to 8 years. So let me tell you, after this conversion from Kingdom of Nepal to Federal Democratic Republic of Nepal, actually the things were not very stable. You can see this in the last 12 years. The Nepal, although it had become a republic, a democratic republic, but the things are not good for Nepal still. In the last 12 years, they again came up with a new constitution. They had seen 11 prime ministers in the last 12 years. 11. Okay, so things are not very stable for Nepal. Okay, and that the power struggle inside the party is very high. Corruption is like anything. Okay, and people of Nepal did not want monarchy because they thought that these people are too aristocratic. They are not among us, they are not from us. Okay, democracy means what? Government of the people, by the people, from the people, a very famous definition given by Abraham Lincoln. So government from the people means people coming from the people, I mean the government coming from the people. But the monarchy was too aristocratic, so they thought that when we will be having democracy, that time we will be having the people like us who will be representing us. But do you know that these people, the elected leaders, are more aristocratic, they are more luxury oriented than the monarchs. So recently what has happened, people of Nepal are fed up with this democratic idea. Okay, many people are fed up and they want that we want our own monarchy back yaar. We were much happy, at least monarch थे तो वो लोग luxury करते थे तो हमें ठीक भी लगता था कि चलो they are from royal family. ये लोग, the people whom we are electing, they are also become behaving in a very royal way. So this is not fair. Now this is actually I mean they are simply deceiving us. Okay, they are not our representatives. They are representing some aristocratic class. So the people of Nepal finally are saying that leave this particular democracy idea. Let's go back to monarchy. Okay, so who are raising this particular issue? Now the thing comes that who are raising this particular issue? Who are raising this particular issue are basically two groups. One is Rashtriya Prajatantra Party. This is a bit right-wing political party in Nepal, and the Royalist group. Royalist groups are basically nothing but the people who are supporting the monarchy, whom we can call them as Royalist group. So these two groups are very much in action that we want to re-establish monarchy. Clear till now why they have again decided to go back to monarchy, why they are raising this issue? Clear? Although some people in Nepal are saying no yaar, at least we are moving slowly the transformation will take place, just like England. In England it took place. It will be a gradual process. Simply from monarchy we cannot jump on the democracy. It will take some time. The mindset of the people will gradually change. It's not a good idea that it's not working, so simply go back to the old system. So there are two opinions. Okay, one that go back to the old system, that was better. Few people are saying that let us give some time to ourselves. Maybe our next generations will be able to appreciate this democracy and they will be enjoying this democracy, because a man's creativity, a human being's creativity is more when he or she is under a free environment. The more you leave a person free, the more creative they are. Okay, by the way, it is an ethics topic. So, and yes, one more thing, they are thinking that they are also raising this issue that we want Nepal to become a Hindu Rashtra. Okay, because today in the world there is no such country who has official religion of their country as Hinduism. Although there are few countries who have Islam as their state religion, so but in no country has Hinduism as the state religion. So till 2008, Nepal was having official religion as Hinduism, but after that, when they turned from Kingdom of Nepal to secular, to this Federal Democratic Republic of Nepal, they converted their state religion to secular. They became secular. Okay, so these people are demanding that why should we not become Hindu Rashtra again? Okay, so basically they are more sort of right wingers. Clear? Yes. So let me tell you one very important event recently, the China angle in this. Yes. Basically what happened, when these two parties got merged in 2018, what happened, China was very happy because they were thinking that because China is also communist ideology and India is also, Nepal is also having communist party and their rule. So obviously this party will support China's, and what they basically want Nepal to support is this. Chinese railway link from Kerung to Lumbini, and there are various other economic projects that are going on from China to Nepal. Okay, and economy is a very big thing. This is the basic interest of every country to raise their economic interest. Clear? So under BRI, Belt Road Initiative, that is China's very big ambitious project. Okay, under that they are making various railway links, various roadways to connect China with Nepal. Okay, and if Nepal will be having Communist Party as the leadership, definitely this will support China. Obviously they will never oppose any of the projects. And secondly, China wants every country to be to take a lots and lots of loans. Clear? Is that clear? Because just like Sri Lanka, what they did, they took so much debt from China that they are to pay back their loans, they again have to take loans from China. So this scenario, China basically wants that. But India's aim is that they want a country to flourish. Okay, they never want that the country to whom India is giving loans should become indebted. Clear? The basic difference in the mindset of China and India. Okay, so let's that is what I am saying. What happened? China was very happy when two parties got merged. They were thinking that now Nepal will become our almost economic colony. Okay, but because of this man KP Sharma Oli, the party leadership was again fighting among themselves, between themselves. Okay, no, I should be the prime minister. Why he is so much in the power? So there was a threat that this party will again get split and the party will lose, because NCP right now is having the majority in Nepal, right? NCP is having the majority now. If the party will get split into two portions, they will lose the majority in Nepal in the parliament. Okay, if they will lose the majority, how they will be able to easily pass the laws without any opposition? Definitely they will face opposition. And this see, I told you that when they got unified, Communist Party of Nepal unified Marxist-Leninist who was under the leadership of KP Sharma Oli, and this Prachand's Communist Party of Nepal Maoist Center. So this Prachand का जो section है ना, the Prachand section, they are basically more India oriented. I mean their approach is more pro-India, and this particular party of KP Sharma Oli is a bit China center. Their approach is pro-China. So if NCP gets split, whenever any law will be in the parliament by this particular section, definitely they will oppose. And China never wanted this scenario to be there. So what China did, they sent their envoy to Nepal, that is Hao Yankee. Okay, now when she came to Nepal, she arranged so many meetings, and ultimately she was able to manage and save the split in the party, to run the government of Nepal and to save the split in the party. She did her best. Clear? So, and she was able to achieve the target. But now what happened, this man, he, when China was able to manage this split, I mean they were able to save the split, and even they were able to make this man prime minister. I mean this man, his seat was under threat now, that I may lose as a prime minister. But when China was able to make sure that no, you will remain the prime minister, he became so grateful to China. Oh my God, you have saved my seat, my prime ministership. So he became very happy with China, and under that attitude of gratitude towards the China, they started saying the statements which were anti-India. Understood this thing? You guys must be thinking, why Nepal suddenly became anti-India so much? Because of this issue, because he was so much grateful to China. Okay, but later on he realized that basically China's interest is to save the party. They want Nepal Communist Party to stay. बट वो ये नहीं चाहते कि केपी शर्मा ओली प्राइम मिनिस्टर रहे. मतलब उन्हें केपी शर्मा रहे चाहे वॉट एवर पर्सन रहे प्राइम मिनिस्टर, उन्हें प्राइम मिनिस्टर से एज सच कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. दे जस्ट वांट एनसीपी टू बी देयर. केपी शर्मा ओली थॉट कि कल को इफ एनी अदर पर्सन यू फाइंड बेटर, यू विल डेफिनेटली थ्रो मी आउट. So this man said that why should I rely on China more? I mean I should now do whatever is for my own politics. So he said dissolve the. और अब देखो अब what will happen ना, now he has dissolved the parliament, definitely the party will get split, Nepal Communist Party, because this Prachand will think that okay, you are trying to take every decision by yourself, we want to have our own party. So this is a big break, I mean it is a big setback for China's ambition for sure. But do you think it will help in any way to India? Do you think it will help in any way to India? There is one thing that it may help to India. Okay, that India's ideology, I mean today the center government that is in the power, the ruling government, their ideology is a bit right wing. Okay, and if these people who are raising this issue that we want monarchy back, if they become successful, that it may a bit ideologically help India a bit. But right now the event that has taken place right now, the dissolution of parliament, this will help India or not? Very few chances. There are now two things remaining. That one, maybe KP Sharma Oli will only work for his own politics, or maybe he may support China because of the communism, because thoda sa grateful to he is still to China. And yes, so right now एक index आया recently, HDI index. In that Nepal's rank is very low. It is around 142. Okay, so Nepal, because I told you that people are very fed up of this present regime of communist government, and Nepal ki rank itni buri hai, 142. So because this man KP Sharma Oli wants to prove that himself, no, we are better, maybe he can take many loans from China in order to improve the living standard of Nepalese people and to get a better rank in the HDI. ये high probability है, he can take loans from China, obviously, to improve the standard of living in Nepal. Secondly, what he can do, he can sign a defense pact. Already Nepal and China are doing their some defense exercise also, or abhi there is a high chance that they can sign a defense pact. That you should understand that there is a high chance. तो ये दो इंडिया के बेसिक कंसर्न्स हैं. तो इसको डील करने के लिए रिसेंटली CDS, चीफ ऑफ डिफेंस स्टाफ बिपिन रावत, ही गेव ओपन एडवाइस टू नेपाल कि आप श्रीलंका से कुछ सीखिए. आप दैट श्रीलंका is so much under debt कि अभी इतना ज़्यादा उन्होंने लोन ले लिया, they have taken so much loan from China that the bonds of their country, their rating has been reduced so much. मतलब there are certain rating agencies in the world, they rate particular countries bond. Okay, और श्रीलंका का जो बॉन्ड है, its rating has gone below than the junk. So definitely no country will invest in Sri Lanka because they have taken so much loan, their rating has reduced like anything. So in order, because no country is investing in their country, so what they have done, they have taken $500 million loan from China again. Okay, उनका एक पूरा एरिया, हम्बनटोटा पोर्ट इतना बड़ा एरिया, they have already given on lease for 99 years to China. एक तरह से this area is for China, I mean they have given this area to China for the next almost 100 years. This area gone, this has total China can do whatever China wants. Although Sri Lanka has given some assurance that we will not let China use it for for the some military purpose and all that, but Sri Lanka won't be able to do anything. See the condition, again and again China is giving them so much of loans, it is under so much debt. Sri Lanka is gone, Pakistan on the verge of debt trap. So CDS ने इनको एडवाइस दिया that आप श्रीलंका से कुछ सीखिए, do not take so much loans from Nepal, from China. Okay, और yes, I told you that till to 2022 it was supposed to be there, but now fresh elections will take place. So you must be thinking now, what is the way forward? Way forward is very simple. We have seen that Nepal wants loan, okay, because to improve the living of standard in Nepal, their HDI rank is very low. But in India, we are already around nearby Nepal, our rank is 131. ठीक है? So first thing that Indians should do is we should focus on the economic development, because economy is everything. As I told you that when I was explaining China issue, why they are interested in Nepal, I told you that it is economy that is mattering, that matters to them. Okay, India, the main problem with Indians is that we are more religion centric, caste centric. Okay, and our main focus is not on the development, and that is why we are so much lagging behind China. Okay, so because we are the new generation, our work should be to make people aware about all these issues. Okay, then our focus should be on the economic development, और उसके लिए we need leaders who have that vision. Okay, तो first thing ये. Secondly, हमारा एक बहुत बुरा track record है. Our track record is very bad regarding the delivery of projects. Whenever we deliver projects, whenever we promise to deliver the projects on time, we are always 5 to 10 years lagging in completion. Even Iran has also told the same thing, that Indians are very poor in delivering their promises. Okay, so second thing that we should do, we should keep our promise. Whenever we are making any agreement that we will complete this project in your country by this date, we should do it at any cost. Okay, in that China is much better than us, they complete before time. So punctuality is the second thing. First, economically we should become sound, our living of standard should grow. Okay, although it is growing, but we are not performing that much well. Yeah, you guys can see this, the rankings. Okay, secondly, we should work on the project delivery on time. Okay, so all these things, when we will work for ourselves, when we become strong, definitely people, the countries around us will trust us. Okay, they will be inclined towards India, and India's approach in helping is quite positive. Okay, we never want the country to be under debt, or to we never want them to be under any sort of negative. We always work in a way that it helps Indians as well as the people of that country. Okay, so these two things if we work, definitely we can be better and we can become the strong in the region. Okay, so जो हमारा dream है to become the Vishwa Guru, that will obviously we will achieve it. Okay, so I hope that you have understood the entire issue. Nepal ki history you have understood. I have told you entire timeline, how they became how it became a kingdom of Nepal, and then how gradually it turned towards a democracy, and now what again recently people are facing issues, how it will impact India, and what are the Chinese interests, how Chinese have done interference in the Nepal's internal politics. I hope everything is clear. Okay, because my aim in whenever I am doing any discussion is that if you by the end of the video you should be able to understand all the perspectives of any particular issue. So I hope, is that clear? Okay, so you guys take care of yourself. If you have any issue, if you have any problem, you can talk to me. Okay, till then you take care. Bye bye.